Welcome back, students. Good morning to one and all. How are you all? Fine. Okay, students. Nowadays in class 6 we are discussing about our unit 2nd physical quantities and measurement. Today we are going to discuss one important topic from this unit, description of a clinical thermometer. Please take out your book and stay on video and watch the video carefully. Okay, students, here we are going to start our topic, description of a clinical thermometer. Yesterday we have discussed that clinical thermometer that is used by doctor to measure the temperature of a human body, especially for the patients. A clinical thermometer has the markings from 35 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius. Okay, a clinical thermometer has the markings from 35 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius. It has a slight bend or kink in the stem just above the bud. Okay, students, now we can have a look the diagram of a clinical thermometer. Figure 2.18. It is a clinical thermometer. There are different parts for clinical thermometer. First one, that is bulb. Second one, that is constriction. Third one, red arrow. Fourth one, capillary tube. There are 4 parts for clinical thermometer. First one, bulb, then constriction, then red arrow, then capillary tube. Now we are going to discuss about these 4 parts and its use. Okay, here it has a slight bend or kink in the stem just above the bud. This kink is called a constriction. Here in the diagram, constriction. See this point, that is called a constriction. Okay, then what is the use of this constriction? This constriction prevents the mercury from falling back all by itself. The constriction prevents the mercury from falling back all by itself. The temperature of a healthy person, we know that is 37 degrees Celsius. This temperature is marked by red arrow here. Okay, the thermometer, we can see one red arrow, that is one part of a clinical thermometer, that is red arrow. This red arrow shows the temperature of 37 degrees Celsius, that is the temperature of a healthy person. Okay, students. Now here one more thing, one important thing is there, clinical thermometers marked in degree Fahrenheit are also available. The thermometers which marked in degree Fahrenheit also available. But the markings given the thermometer, that will be 95 degree Fahrenheit to 110 degree Fahrenheit in those type of clinical thermometers. The red arrow indicating the temperature of a healthy person is at that type of clinical thermometer is 98.6 degree Fahrenheit. Okay. In those type of clinical thermometers, the red arrow that shows the 98.6 degree Fahrenheit. Okay. Now we are going to discuss measuring the temperature of a patient's body with a clinical thermometer. How to measure the temperature of a patient? So what are the steps we have to follow to measure the temperature of a patient's body? Before use, the bulb of a thermometer is washed. First we have to wash the bulb of a thermometer. Clear? How to wash it? By keeping it in a beaker containing cold water. Then it is slightly jerked to bring the level of mercury in its capillary tube below the mark 37 degrees Celsius. Just jerk. For what? To arrange the level of the mercury level. Clear? Then to measure the temperature of a patient's body, its bulb is kept either below the tank or under the armpit of a patient for about a minute, after which the thermometer is taken out. Clear? And its reading is noted. So where to keep the thermometer? The thermometer's bulb should be kept either below the tank or under the armpit of the patient. How much time? For about 1 minute. About 1 minute we have to keep. Clear? After this 1 minute, you have to take out the thermometer and the reading should be noted. Okay? If the temperature of a patient's body is above 37 degrees Celsius, he is said to be suffering from fever. Okay, students, he is suffering from fever if it is above 37 degrees Celsius. One important point or fascinating facts do you know came here, that is, normal temperature of a human body is 37 degrees Celsius or 98.6 degree Fahrenheit. The normal temperature of a human body, that is 37 degrees Celsius or 98.6 degree Fahrenheit. Okay. Nowadays, instead of the mercury thermometers, digital thermometers are used. Nowadays, digital thermometers also available. Okay, students. A clinical thermometer cannot be used to measure the temperature of boiling water, that is 100 degrees Celsius. Clinical thermometers cannot be used. It is not possible to use because the boiling point of water, that is 100 degrees Celsius. In clinical thermometer, the maximum temperature shows that is 42 degrees Celsius. That's why it cannot be used to measure the boiling point of water. The physical quantities like length, mass, time and temperature are independent of each other. They are not related among us themselves. Such quantities are called fundamental qualities. Such quantities are called fundamental quantities. Okay, students. On the other hand, area, volume, speed, etc. are quantities which are expressed in terms of the measurable fundamental quantities like length, mass, time, etc. This area, volume, speed are the quantities which are expressed in terms of the measurable fundamental quantities like length, mass, time, etc. They are commonly called derived quantities. They are commonly called derived quantities. For example, area is equal to length into breadth. Volume is equal to what it is? Length into breadth into height, means L into B into H. Okay, students, L into B into H, that is volume of a particular body. Clear? Now, speed. How to find out speed? Speed is equal to length of path upon time. Length of path means distance upon time. Okay, the equation to find out speed, that is distance upon time. Okay, now we are going to discuss measurement of area. We are going to discuss measurement of area. How to measure the area of a body. Each object has a surface. Okay, each object has a surface. For example, a brick, a matchbox, a leaf, a piece of paper, etc. all have a surface. All have a surface. A brick and a matchbox have surfaces consisting of 6 faces. A brick and a matchbox have surfaces consisting of 6 faces. This brick and matchbox have 6 faces. A leaf and a piece of paper. A leaf and a piece of paper have surfaces consisting of 2 faces. A leaf and a piece of paper have 2 faces. The total surface area occupied by an object is called its surface area or simply the area. The total surface occupied by an object. The total surface occupied by an object is called its surface area or simply the area. Okay, students? Now, we will discuss the area can be expressed in terms of the product of 2 measurements in length. For example, to find the area of the base of a geometrical box, suppose that we have to find out the area of a geometrical box. Then what to do? We measure its length and breadth. First of all, we have to measure the length and breadth. If the length of the geometrical box is suppose that the length of the geometrical box, that is 20 centimeter, its breadth is 7 centimeter, then area of the geometrical box is given here length into breadth. We have to use the formula length into breadth to find out the area of the geometrical box. Okay, this is the formula to find out the area. We know that the length, that is 20 centimeter, the breadth is 7 centimeter. Okay, by multiplying 20 into 7, 20 centimeter into 7 centimeter, we will get the answer 140 centimeter square. Okay, students? Now we will discuss how to find out area of a regular object. Area of a regular object. The area of an object of a regular shape can be calculated by using the following formula. Few formulae are there. Okay, students? Here, area of a square of side L. How to find out? We know the equation we are discussing in mathematics also. Area of a square is equal to side into side. If we are taking the value L, then that is equal to L into L. The final value is L square or side square. Okay, side square. So area of a square is equal to side square or side into side. Now area of a rectangle of length L and B, that is length into breadth. By using the formula length into breadth, L into B, that is LB. Okay, area of a rectangle is given here, and also now we can discuss how to find out the area of triangle of length of base L and height H. The equation is half the length of the base into height. Clear? That is half LH, because L for length. So we can use the formula half LH to find out the area of a triangle. Now we are going to discuss how to find out area of a circular lamina. To find out area of circular lamina, we will use the equation pi r square. Pi r square, r means radius. R means radius. Pi into radius square or pi r square to find out the area of a circular lamina. Okay, students, you are understanding the points now? Now, pi is having a constant value, that is 22 upon 7. Then by dividing this 22 upon 7, we will get the answer 3.14. So we can say that pi is having a particular value, particular constant value, that is 3.14. Now we are going to discuss use of a graph paper to find the area of a regular or irregular surface. Okay, students, it's a time to wind up today's sessions. Clear? I hope that you understood today's points. If you have any doubt, you don't worry, you can ask me. I am here with you. Okay, students, when class starts, you can ask your all doubts to me. Clear? Today I am going to leave from you. Goodbye and have a nice day.